Welcome to the first part of a video series on scholarly habits by Susan Hares. This set of scholarly habits looks at the appropriate resources for scholarly research into Greek texts. There are 6 of these habits we're investigating. The first is appropriate resources. Second involves scholarly debates on Greek word studies. The third involves scholarly debates on Greek texts. The fourth on exegetical commentaries. The fifth on scholarly papers on Greek texts. And the final is Greek exegetical papers, how you can imagine debates. Now, let's begin with our first habit, picking up appropriate resources for Greek exegesis. This is especially important for Greek Exegesis, the NTP 542. Now, let's look at the required text we have for 1 Thessalonians. We've required Greek New Testament, the UBS. The current one is number 5. You can get it online, or you can purchase one. I find it a good reading material for me daily. The second is the Greek materials on exegesis on various mythologies, of which this is one that you'll find in your blackboard. The next is a BDAG, which is Greek English Lexicon of the New Testament. The fourth is a first and second letters to the Thessalonians, a commentary by Gordon Fee, and New Testament Exegesis, the 3rd edition, a handbook for students and pastors. Now, we also recommend intermediate grammar. There is my favorite, Greek Grammar Beyond the Basics, and exegetical syntax in the New Testament. You can also get the basic grammar of the New Testament syntax and an intermediate grammar. The basic syntax is by Daniel Wallace, and the syntax of New Testament Greek is by Carlton Winberry. Additionally, you have advanced grammars, Greek Grammar of the New Testament by Blas and De Bruyne, which is 1973. That is one of our key ones. A Grammar of the New Testament Greek, Ipogena, which is by Milligan. A Grammar of the New Testament, Light of Historical Research, that's A. Robertson. And just Biblical Greek by Maximilian Zerwick. These are, again, things that Fee recommends in his book. Another thing I highly recommend for Thessalonians is a Greek idiom book. You can look at the Greek idiom book of the New Testament by Cambridge. Now, another thing that has recently come out in BibleWorks 10 is a language model with Levy Greek diagrams, which give you Greek diagrams of Greek verses. If you have BibleWorks 10, that's extremely useful. Ellis provides some of the same concepts in his 1st and 2nd Thessalonians commentary. Then we come to Thessalonian work, looking at various words. That's theological dictionaries. I recommend, first of all, the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament by Kittle, Vocabulary of the Greek New Testament by Moulton and Milligan, and the Interpreter's Bible as in theological dictionaries. However, to give you a complete list, the best, again, is Kittle, the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament in 10 volumes. Acceptable ones are by Colin Brown as the editor, the New International Dictionary of New Testament Theology. As I've mentioned, the Vocabulary of the New Testament through Logos by Moulton and Milligan. Bruce is another one I'm using to teach with, which is the NIV Theological Dictionary of New Testament Words. And Vincent, Word Studies in the New Testament. Their volumes in Vincent are ordered by the order of the New Testament, beginning with Matthew and going forward. You can get some of that online in the Bible. Verbrugge is also available on Kindle. Secondary dictionaries, and this is because of age, is or scope. Bromley's abridged version of the NT, the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament, is called the Little Kittle. It's very abridged and doesn't really provide you a good in-depth study. Buttrick's Interpreter's Dictionary of Bombs is alphabetized, a good one, but dated. Spitik's Theological Lexicon of the New Testament is a more recent and useful book, but not as extensive. Vines is online, and again, very it doesn't have some of the modern scholarship that the later one has, and it's more in English. So you'll find that a lighter read, but for some people that's a good introductory text. Now, let me go to the dictionaries that to the exegetical commentaries that can be augmented. He recommends Best's New Testament commentary on the 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, Mallarby's, Marshall's, and Wanamaker's. Those are extremely good. There are other commentaries in the 1980 to 2018. I personally like Bruce, but he is 1982. Blank is a new one. Ellis, as I mentioned, gives interesting sentence diagrams. Gavienta is an interpreter's Bible in the 1980s. Green I find to be useful as part of the Pillar New Testament commentaries. Hendrickson and Kistemaker's book is in the mid-80s. Martin's is 95, and Morris is useful, but 1980s. Beyond that, there are things before that, such as Barclay, UBS handbooks, some portions. I put Henderson also in this category, is that some of the work predates the 1980s. Milligan's own commentary on Thessalonians, and Space is from around the 1900s. Previous to that, you will see Lang's, Schaff's commentaries, Moffat's, and Charles Simon. These are all 1890s. If you see them with a more modern date, it's republishing. Historical commentaries may be useful from Calvin or Wesley. And there are ancient commentaries, which are actually very interesting because the closer you get to the original date, the better the commentary may be. Some of these are online at www.ccl.org or wesley.nnu.ed, or you can search some of these, but make sure to get the full commentaries. Non-exegetical commentaries that you should not use except in an application to show some people's appreciation are listed here. Please do not use those in your exegetical paper except as a modern commentary moment. They should not count as your 10 sources if you're doing an exegetical paper. In addition, you can find scholarly articles from the Regions database. There's real quick formatting. The AAPL region database with the APLA serials. Just check scholarly and academic journals and search away. Also, there's the New Testament abstracts. Select just only academic journals. Use the first resources if you find a good one, such as the 4 or 5 exegetical commentaries. They will give you additional commentaries. Use those as a way to find other resources. Use the library search databases. If you can't use it, try Google Scholar, but be very careful to make sure to get the right forms. Google Scholar has been a great match, but it isn't selecting religious. Use the database resources in Google Scholar, can help you format your bibliography and footnote. Lastly, you have acceptable computer aids. I recommend Globus V7 and BibleWorks V10. There are online resources for some of this material, usually secondary at blueletterbible.org or biblehub.org. There's text sources for the NA25 and UBS 5 online. You can read that or obtain your questions. Critical apparatus is usually only purchased on it, but sometimes you can find online. And they get the Christian classics at the Etherrail library. Well, thank you for going through all the various resources. I look to chat with you again on word study debates. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next chat.